So John, I've got with me here the Nokia C6. Looks a little bit like the Nokia N97 from last year. What are the key differences?
Yeah, it does have a very sort of similar look and feel. So it's quite a heavy phone, and it's got that sliding QWERTY keypad you just open up there, which is it's great if you write a lot of emails, you write long text messages. That sort of is really handy.
Quite a small space bar.
Yeah, quite small, but I think the buttons are quite well spaced out, and it's sort of quite comfortable and easy to use.
I like the feel. The matte finish is good.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a personal taste really. I find it a bit unusual, and the phone itself felt a little bit plasticky. But that comes down to sort of one of the differences with the N97 is that the N97 was from the N range, and that's sort of Nokia's premium range of phones. This is from the C range, so we're looking at a mid-range device. It's available for about £25 on a contract, or around about £300 SIM-free. So it's not sort of the same premium product as the N range.
So I can see it's a touchscreen.
Yeah, it's got a 3.2-inch touchscreen, which is great for viewing photos and going online, that sort of thing. But it is resistive, so it means it's not as slick and as fun to use as capacitive touchscreens that you get on things like the iPhone. It's a cheaper technology, really, so that's the sort of thing we would expect in a mid-range phone. But it does mean you don't get things like multi-touch, so that's when you pinch to zoom when you're browsing the net, which is great. It's not available on this one.
So I can see it has a 5-megapixel camera and an LED flash. What's its video and music like?
Well, yeah, you picked up the camera there. That's pretty standard fare. We've not tested it. It'll go off to the lab once we've finished this video. But 5 megapixels is pretty standard now for Nokia. LED flash, autofocus. It can record video at VGA resolution, 30 frames per second. Now, if you're not very familiar with sort of video recording, what that means is it's not up there with a standalone camera. You won't get the same sort of quality, but it's sort of what you'd probably expect from a mobile phone. Other features, we've got the music player and an FM radio. There's a handy headphone jack up there on the top of the phone. Now that's really useful because we often find that the headphones that are supplied with phones are a bit on the ropey side. Having a 3.5mm connector means it's easy to plug in your own, and actually putting it on the top is good because it makes it easy to slot the phone in your pocket. If it's at the side, it can be a bit awkward. You've got a memory card slot there. It comes with a supplied 2 gig memory card, so you can sort of save all your favourite tracks, all your favourite photos. Internet browsing, Wi-Fi enabled, which is great if you're in a sort of Wi-Fi hotspot, if you've got Wi-Fi at home. Outside of that, we've got HSDPA, so it should be pretty fast. Again, we've not tested it, but I'm expecting sort of pretty good speeds.
I can see that it runs Nokia's own Symbian operating system. I've heard mixed things about that.
Yeah, not everyone loves it, to be honest. This is Symbian S60. When I've used it, I don't find it as sort of interesting or as innovative as the iPhone operating system or the Google sort of operating system. But you know, if you're familiar with Nokia products, you're probably sort of quite familiar how this works, and you might find it quite straightforward.
And it does have access to the Ovi store, which gives you Ovi maps.
Yeah, exactly. So if you've never had sort of a smartphone before, you've never downloaded applications, you'd be really impressed. And as you say, you picked up perhaps the best app that Nokia have. It's their Ovi Maps. So it's free maps, and it's also free navigation. And that's just not just when you're sort of out walking about, it's also in your car, turn-by-turn direction. So that's really impressive.
Lastly then, how do you think it will get on in our tests?
It's difficult to say. There's certain things about it that I quite like. The camera seems a reasonable spec. It's nice to have a full QWERTY keypad, especially if you're going to be writing emails, that sort of thing. Wi-Fi is obviously a bonus, especially at a phone this sort of price. Build quality, it feels a little bit cheap to me. It's a bit plasticky. It's also quite heavy. But we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see what the lab comes back with.
So as soon as we get that report back from the lab, we'll publish it online at which.co.uk, where you can find hundreds of other mobile phone reviews.